Will AI replace Uber drivers? I unfortunately have to give this a resounding yes. This is definitely a question of not if, but when. After watching the CEO of Uber, his first name is Dara, and please don't ask me to pronounce his last name, it starts with an S, gave an interview at the World Economic Forum in Davos to CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin. His answer showed to me that it was clear that many of the technologists who are creating and embracing AI do not want to give an accurate picture of how AI will impact the overall workforce. He gave a very political answer when asked about Uber's recent partnership with Waymo, the self-driving autonomous vehicle maker, and the implementation of autonomous vehicles into the Uber fleet. When asked if someone who is thinking about driving long-term for Uber should do so, he made it seem like this new hybrid system of autonomous vehicles mixed in with the current Uber drivers would be the new model for some time to come. However, he didn't really specify how much of each was going to be part of this hybrid model. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, there may be 90% regular Uber drivers, people drivers, and maybe 10% of the Waymo fleet. That is not to say that that could not change exponentially without anybody realizing it until maybe it's too late. There's no rule that says that they can't start implementing more Waymo cars, autonomous vehicles into their fleet. They can do that if they want to. I know that my husband actually took a Waymo ride in San Francisco a couple months ago, and he said that he trusted the autonomous vehicle more than he did a person, which really, really surprised me because I have not taken a Waymo ride, and I actually think that I might have the opposite reaction. However, that remains to be seen. So if customers opt for Waymo vehicles or autonomous vehicles because the rides are cheaper or more desirable, what recourse do current drivers have if Uber starts slowly, either inadvertently or advertently, pushing them out of the market? Drivers for both Lyft and Uber are still independent contractors, which means, yes, they can leave or join the platform whenever they want to. That also means that Uber and Lyft do not necessarily have to hire them or allow them to drive on the platform if they don't want to. I think, honestly, that there might be a day when once the autonomous vehicles increase profitability over the human drivers, there are going to be a lot of rideshare drivers that just wake up one day and turn on their app to find out that their account has been deactivated with no notice or very little notice. There are many people who drive full-time for these rideshare companies. It's their main source of income. What happens if they wake up one day and discover that their accounts are no longer active on the platforms? So here's what I would do if I were an Uber driver today. I would research the partnerships between these rideshare companies and companies like Waymo, because there will be other companies developing autonomous vehicles in the future. And to understand where these partnerships are leading, it's not like they're hiding it. You can go and look up different articles or even on the company's websites themselves, probably the section that says investors, telling the investors on how they're going to add even more value to the company's stocks by adding these autonomous vehicles to the fleet. Make a transition plan or an exit strategy to find other work in a similar or even a different field. Save your money and invest wisely. And start to take notice of how many autonomous vehicles you start seeing used on the platform. And then also take note of the reaction of passengers regarding their experiences with these autonomous vehicle rides. I hope this wasn't too much of a downer. I really just like to be a realist, and I want people to be prepared. So if you are an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, am I saying jump off the platform right now or start panicking? No, I really do believe that you have time. However, I do not believe that you have as much time as what the Uber CEO was saying, which was a projection of 10 to 15 to 20 years, depending on which interview you watch. I think that a 5-year timeline is a pretty fair assessment of how you can expect these rideshare companies to transition, possibly to complete autonomous vehicle fleets by 2030.